gonna watch her, right?
Yeah. Does that work?
Stand it up this way. Because otherwise
Good,
it'll...
and you can see it.
Yep, she's there and I can see Kathy gets to be on the video even if nobody can see...
Kathy's in every video. Yeah.
Oh, and we're recording. We're live now on this thing, right?
Just
Excellent.
don't be so jealous.
Okay, so we want everyone.
Who? Oh, Paris? Oh, court about, I don't know.
I don't want to
Okay, thank you.
take up too much time, so guys, we're going to get started. We have with us today Paula Golladay, who does recruiting for the federal government. She's actually based in D.C., but we have her Skyping in to help us figure out how to apply for federal jobs. Today, we're going to be looking at USA Jobs and some other sites as well. I did send her, I believe, 1 or 2 resumes to look over, and please, think of any questions that you may have during the course of the presentation, because this is really your only one time to have interaction with the federal recruiter.
Am I doing the right thing?
You do not need to do anything as far as Skype. The presentation's just going to be on this screen up here.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I think I'm gonna change my glasses because the light. I want the light down some. Wouldn't it be better, or are you just gonna leave it like that?
Do you want us to turn the lights off?
I think it's better because we can see her real good. Yeah, that's better. That's perfect.
Well, on my end, that means that I don't see very well, but that's okay.
No,
Okay.
Okay, don't worry about it. As long as you can hear me and you can see me,
Yeah.
that works fine, not to worry.
Okay.
Great. So we're ready whenever you, Paula.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Fine.
Great. I see someone just came in with a winter coat and winter hat. So is it cold in Philly?
Yes. Very good.
All right. Not terribly cold in Washington, D.C. area, but I'm sure it will get colder as the winter progresses.
Yeah.
So my name is Paula Golladay, and it's spelled Gollad as in David, A-Y. I work for the Internal Revenue Service, and I work in workforce staffing, specifically with candidates that can be considered for Schedule A hire. Is everybody familiar with a Schedule A hire?
Yeah.
Great. That solves one problem. And everyone has already obtained their Schedule A letters, so when you apply for a job, you're all ready to go.
Yes. Yes.
Great. So first thing, Emily, I heard you say that you sent me a few resumes. To my knowledge, I don't have them, unless you just sent them out.
No, I sent them a week ago. So if you don't have them, don't worry about it.
You can always resend.
Okay.
That's not a problem. I have to tell you that they may be in Cyberland somewhere. My work computer has been very busy right now. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what I do and how the two of us, or all of you and I, can partner well together. I work only with individuals that can be considered as a Schedule A hire, so somebody with a disability, or veterans with disabilities. And they fall pretty much in both categories. This is a passion of mine. I truly enjoy what I do, and I will do as much as I can for my candidates, but I truly believe in candidate responsibility, meaning that I'm not going to do it for you. So if you're looking in the background on your screen wondering, well, that's a definitely different office. I'm Skyping, so to speak, from my home, and you are currently sitting in my art studio. So welcome to my art studio.
Oh, I love it.
That's why you see things that one would not normally find in an office.
I love that player plant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. The biggest thing that you have to write to get a job, whether it's with the federal government or with the private corporation, is your resume. You have to understand that before they ever see you, or before they get to know you, they have seen someone else there, they see your resume. They look at that resume and say, is this somebody that I'm interested in interviewing and possibly hiring? So we're gonna go over a few must-haves, and then we'll discuss what else you might put in. You must have, obviously, accurate contact information. Check that your email address is typed correctly in your resume, because one character off and we can't get back in touch with you. Let's discuss email addresses. If you have several email addresses, I strongly suggest that you choose one, or set up one, and there's plenty of free email available, and that is the only email address you use when you're searching for a job. You don't give it to your friends, you don't give it to family. That is your work search email. And you're going to keep it as simple as possible. So many people like to add strange characters or lots of numbers. The more you add to that email address, the higher the probability is that it's going to get mistyped or typoed into a response, and you'll never get an email. You want to choose a very professional title, so John Smith 1 at Yahoo, as an example. Instead of some of them that I've gotten, I'm not making it up, ladies and gentlemen, but I do have email addresses of Sweet to Love at Hotmail. This is not a good email address, but you don't do that. And that was a smile out of you. Make sure, so your email address is there and contact phone number. Let's discuss your contact number. If I call you and I get an answering machine and it's playing music and it's saying funny, cute little things, this is not a professional voicemail. Now should be, you've reached so-and-so, I'm available for a phone call right now, please leave a name, phone number, and a brief message, and I'll get back upon my return. You want to make sure that you sound professional, no matter how I contact you, by email or voicemail. Do's and don'ts of a resume, very simple, are check your spelling, check your grammar. I know that sounds childish, but I've worked with people coming in at the entry level up to the level, seeing all of their records.
Paula, I think we lost you.
Lost her voice. No audio.
She's talking, but she can't
Do
hear.
you still hear us? We don't hear you.
Hang on.
Oh,
I will
Now
double
we-
check.
now we hear you again.
Oh, well, that's strange. Okay. Okay. You can hear me now, no
Yeah.
problem?
Yeah,
Can you now?
No, it's going.
you're going in and out for some reason.
Huh. Do we want to, because, you know, and the picture quality I go up is not as when I go at quality. So I wonder if voice quality has something to do with it.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. Maybe, do you want to try calling on speakerphone?
Mic here on mute, and then I'll call in, okay?
Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys.
No, no.
Paula?
Yes. Everybody hear me now?
Yes.
I feel like a bad Verizon phone call.
No, we can hear you.
Super. So I was,
Uh-oh.
bad feedback.
Thanks, hold.
We'll get this right, honestly, we will.
We have an echo, Paula.
I know. But if I move my phone away, then you can't hear me.
Yeah.
Is it better?
That's great on my end.
Yeah, now it's, I think it's gone, right?
Don't we have a speaker up here?
No.
Oh, wait a minute, hang on.
Yeah.
All right, that's the best I can do on my end.
So, taken. What is that taken?
Let me, oh man,
What is that taken?
hold on. Yeah, it's still, there's some ringing. Do you hear that, Paula?
I can hear you. Yeah, the echo is on your end, not mine.
Okay.
You turn it up too loud.
Hold on.
Turn it down. We call it squelch.
No, it's still there.
Yeah.
Can we guys hear?
Everybody feels better now.
Can you hear her?
I hear you.
We can hear, but it's that echo.
But the echoing's pretty much gone, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
It's just lower, that's all.
Huh.
Good old Verizon.
Shall we try?
Yeah, let's try, because I really want to hear this.
No, I can still hear you through the computer. Why don't you mute yourself and only listen to the phone?
I'm sorry, I thought I did.
Maybe that's what it is? You think that's what it is?
Okay.
All right. Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see anybody holding their ears, so I guess the echo went away.
Yeah.
That is better. Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome. Anyway, I was just to do a little catch-up. I was stating that your email address should be very professional. It should not have anything clever in it. Your phone voicemail message, should people contact you by phone, should be very professional. No music in the background, no children chattering away, just very professional. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of a resume. The first do is do check for spelling errors. Do check for grammar errors. Fragmented sentences tell the employer you do not have the ability, or we think you do not have the ability, to write a complete sentence. It's very important, especially if you're applying somewhere in the secretarial or in the administrative fields, along with others, your other professional fields. Why would I have you write a memo if I don't think you can write a solid sentence? Check that, and no matter what, always have somebody else read your resume. And this is the reason why. You will believe what you wrote is what you see. So if you thought you were writing and you type the word "and," your eyes are going to tell you you are seeing the word "and." Now, what does it take to get a job in the federal in the federal government? A few things. One, you have to hope that funding becomes more available. I'm going to be very honest with you. I wish that there were tons of federal positions open right now. Unfortunately, as you know, the federal government has not passed a budget in several years, and until that happens, we don't know if we have funding to support our employees. So we can't bring on as many employees as we normally would, because we have to pay them, we have to pay your benefits, and we certainly don't want to bring someone on with the forethought of, well, we'll pay them for 3 months and then let them go. But there are jobs out there, and I know I sent 2 listings to Emily yesterday. One is for a secretary position in Philadelphia, and one is in Cranberry Township. And being a good Jerseyite that I am, I know that from Philadelphia to Cranberry Township is not that far of a commute. It's over the bridge. So you may want to look at those positions. Make sure that you qualify for the position, meaning if it says that that you need X years of experience and you do not have them, you're not going to qualify. Okay? So I want to make sure that you write your resume to that job listed qualifications. What's the difference between a federal resume and a corporate America resume? Anybody there know? So I don't sit here and just talk to myself.
No.
Okay. Have you seen what is known as a bulleted resume?
Yeah.
Those short little blurbs. I type 40 words a minute. I worked in an office. I file, so forth and so on. Those are bullets. They're usually used in a corporate world because they will look at it, say, gee, this person looks interesting. Let's get one of our recruiters to give them a call and get some more information. Federal resume, you go into a pool of candidates, and you are qualified against the position description for that job at that grade level. So everybody gets a fair shake in the meaning of if 500 candidates apply, those 500 candidates are qualified against the same position description. So if you give your resume in to this 500 pool candidate and it has very little information on it, you're not going to qualify, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be very honest. Give me an example of some of the skill sets of the people in the room that are holding, and I'll walk you through it a little bit.
What was that?
Someone volunteer?
Can you
What kind of
repeat?
skill sets are you going to bring to the table? If I was going to recommend one of the people or all of the people in the room for a position as a secretary, all right?
I did.
Why would I
5 years
recommend you?
File clerk.
We have someone who said they did 5 years of file clerk.
Okay, so we have 5 years as in a clerical position. What else?
Joe, what about you?
Education.
You were in a file clerk for this one, right?
Okay, so more file clerk. Does anybody have a typing? How many
knows
words
their
a minute do you
typing
type?
Kathy?
Paula, 55 words a minute.
55. Excellent.
Excel.
Okay, you know Excel. Great. What else?
Memos.
This is super. Who's
Letters.
speaking? So I know I can get kind of an idea of the names.
Kathy Barnett. Letters.
Okay. Okay, so you've typed memos, you've done Excel, you've typed 55 words per minute. What is your accuracy rate at 55 words per minute?
Between 1 and 2 hours.
Excellent. All right, what else are you going to bring to the table as a secretary, Kathy?
I have a background accounts payable, accounts receivable.
Okay. And what about your phone interactions?
Phone, yes, heavy.
Okay. And what about your interactions with, you'll say, your managers, the people that he also manages or his manager?
I also answer direct to all managers and CEOs. I have that background.
All right. So if you wrote on your resume, Kathy, we'll just give a little, we're going to pick on Kathy, and I'm sorry if you think I am, because I'm not, all right? If you wrote on your resume, I worked for XYZ Corporation from June 1998 to August 2011 at 40 hours a week, and you just wrote little blurbs, typed 55 words per minute, Excel spreadsheets, advanced, accounts payable, accounts receivable, advanced, and we'll just go down that line. That doesn't tell me very much about you. So in a federal resume, you would write created data sheets in Excel spreadsheets using accounts payable and accounts receivable standard practices. I created over 100 spreadsheets that were approved by the management and used corporate-wide. Now, I made that completely up off the top of my head, but you can see the difference.
Yes.
I now know that you have a great deal of experience in Excel. You have the ability to work the product. You have the ability to create spreadsheets to the point where the corporation is now using them. Wouldn't that be more interesting
Yes.
and probably get you a better qualification than
Yes.
Excel Advanced? And that's the difference. You have to spell out what you do. You cannot just depend on someone assuming that because you held a position or a similar position last year, 5 years ago, that you know the product well. If you wrote memos, you can give an approximate, wrote over 50 memos per semester or per 6 months, leading to CEO recommendations.
Okay.
Much more interesting. It went all the way up to the CEO. If a lot of our positions ask for, do you have the ability to work in Outlook Calendar? Anybody know Outlook Calendar well enough?
Outlook calendar. Yeah, we know.
You guys know Outlook.
We know
don't you?
Outlook is part
Right. Outlook is the standard Microsoft email product,
Yes.
but it also has a calendar in it.
Yes.
And in that system, I can share my calendar with people where they may have the ability only to read it, or they may be actually able to add to it. So if you're working for a manager and he says, I want you to manage my calendar, you have to have the knowledge of how to add and delete appointments, how to move appointments around. So it's just something else that makes you a more viable candidate.
Okay.
There are times where it's too much in the sense of people start giving me their history of their jobs, the history of where they work, and, it goes on for pages and pages and pages.
Okay.
And then there's the too little. So how many people here have heard of your resume should be no more than 1 page?
Yes. We've
Yes.
heard that. Yes.
Many.
Fortunately,
Right.
mine is 2 pages because of the many years I have worked.
Exactly. Now, here's my thought process. If you are someone that just finished their college years, your resume would probably be 1, maybe 1.5 pages. If you've been, like Kathy, in the workforce for quite a bit of time and has a lot of experience, it would be 2 pages. If you've been out of work for quite a bit of time and now you're re-entering the workforce, it may be 1 page. Or you may have worked, we'll say, from the year of 2000 to 2007, and now you're coming back into the workforce. A lot of people have an issue, should I let them know why I wasn't in the workforce? That's a decision you'll have to make yourself. You can add, again, nothing really expanded, but you can just add, we'll just say I've seen on a lot of resumes, caring for ailing parent, on medical leave. Or you can just not answer it and address it in the interview if you get to the interview process. A 1-page resume is usually in bullet form, doesn't tell me very much about you, and it also may say, I don't care enough about myself and my job experience to give you much information. How far back in years of work experience should you go on a resume?
10 years.
That's right. Anything 10 years in the past, unless you've actually worked for one company for more than 10 years, all you need to do is list the name of the company, your job title, and it's always month to year, and then month to year. So
Yes.
06-2000 to 08-2009. You have to add the number of hours you were hired to work.
Okay. Put the hours
For
on
that
there.
is the government, we're graded on GS levels, so grade and salary levels. If you want to come in as a GS 7, but you worked in the corporate world, your experience has to be equal to somebody that worked full-time 1 year at the GS5 level. So if you don't add those hours that you work, we don't know if you work 5 hours a week, which is not full-time, or you work 40 hours a week. So make sure you put that in there, the number of hours that you worked. You can or cannot put a contact your supervisor. That's your choice. You can list your supervisor and in parentheses write permission to contact or please contact me before contacting supervisor. That's up to you and it's perfectly acceptable. Make sure that if you're listing the supervisor and you're allowing them to contact that person, you list either an email address or phone number. What else would I want to see on a resume other than your work experience?
References? Well, they stopped putting the references on the email, on your resumes.
References are usually put references upon request because you don't want to add that to the volume of your resume.
Right.
How many here have done any volunteer work?
Oh, yes. All
right. Don't you think that has some value?
Yes. Yes.
If you, I'm just going to make something up, all right? Let's just say that you volunteer in the office of a local nonprofit organization, excuse me, and you do it 3 days a week for 2 hours. That counts as work experience. That's volunteer work experience because you're working in the field that you want to work in, all right? It's just because you're not getting paid for it doesn't mean that it is an experience. I would much rather look at somebody that will just say has been out of the workforce for a couple of years, whatever the reason may be. Maybe they were raising children, maybe it was due to medical reasons, but I saw that they kept their skills up because they were in this volunteer situation several hours a week. So I know that their skills are probably equal to or just below equal to what they were when they left the paid workforce. So any volunteer work that you've done, and it doesn't have to be in your career, but you want to list it as something that you've been doing. And if it is in the career field that you want to go into, be sure that you're listing what you did. Just don't write, I work for XYZ nonprofit, worked in office. Again, we're going back, what did you do? Okay? Other things that should put on your resume is some people list interests. That's fine. It does show that you are more than a one-sided individual. Some people put interests that they can get really carried away for themselves. So they start listing maybe the movies they like or the TV shows they like. Not something you would want to list. You know, I enjoy hiking. I enjoy, going to museums, or an avid reader or something of that nature is fine. Other things that I want to see in that resume is the format. So you have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Make sure that you justify everything. A lot of people put fancy logos in or color, or they put, they leave wide margins on the left side. Let's justify it. The reason is it looks neater. That's number one. Number two, it gives you more space on that piece of paper to actually put in more quantifiable information. All right? I've had people put their pictures on their resumes. Please do not do that. I've had people put their full Social Security number. Please do not do that either. That is to protect you. The only time you give your employer your Social Security number is if you've actually been offered a position and you're filling out the tax form. All right? Make sure that you're not leaving multiple spaces in between positions that you've held. You want to make sure that you're using that space appropriately. Now, font size. What size do you normally write your resumes in.
Should be a 10 or 12 point.
14.
10 and 12,
14 is a little large unless,
the title.
and I have received resumes from people that have visual impairment, all right? They may be low vision. They may be using a software program that helps them write that. If that happens, I can convert it on my end. I normally suggest anywhere from 11 point, well, 10 point is the smallest, up to 12 point. It's a nice readable size. It doesn't take up a lot of room on the paper. Color of the ink should be black, all right? It should not have fancy color in it. You shouldn't use a fancy script of a font, Arial work, Times Roman work. Some of the other are fine, but remember the main thrust of your resume is, I am a professional person and I don't want to look like I like to use cutesy colors or cutesy fonts. So I have spoken for a good bit of time. Now I want to hear questions from everybody there.
Question? Yeah, just oh, sorry. Yes. What are, say, the top 2 fonts that you would advise us using on our resume?
I'm going to ask somebody to repeat the question only because on my end the audio is not great.
Oh, sorry.
So if somebody could directly
what are the 2 types
repeat it, I will be able to answer it.
Sure. Anthony said, what are the 2 types?
Type font, yes.
Types of font, like what type base?
So the name of the font should either be Arial, A-R-I-A-L, or New Times Roman, and the font size is anywhere between 10 point to 12 point. Some people like to put their name and contact information in 12 point, and then the rest of their resume in anywhere between 10 and 11 point.
Okay, great.
Any other questions?
Anybody else? I have a question.
We got a question. We'll get it to you once you.
Can you hear me, Paul?
No, the phone is over here. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Paul?
No, it sounds like it's playing in the background.
Oh, okay. I had a problem.
Go ahead.
Is she ready for me?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
I have problems concerning all of my jobs I've had lifetime. It was during the time of a lot of downsizing, and companies were retaken over. You know, it was just a bad. I just was caught up in it, and I have 4 positions that have been taken over by other companies. The people were scattered and let go and whatnot. I only found 2 companies that I can actually get in touch with a supervisor or a manager. Okay, and then I have 2 that I cannot. So is there any advice that you can give me, or shall I just continue to do what I'm doing?
No, you're still going to list that you work for that company, and then you're going to put in parentheses, company no longer in existence.
Okay.
If the company no longer exists, there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
All right? So just that way they know you're not hiding information. The company is no longer established.
Okay.
But does that make you look bad?
No, you didn't. Not unless you personally went in there and locked the door.
I've been on the online, you know how we're putting our resumes online, and it has reason for leaving and whatnot. Downsizing. That's all I put, because that's
all
exactly
you
what
need to
was
put.
going on at that time.
If it's downsized, if the company was bought out, if the company moved out of state, these are all factors that you had no control over.
No control.
So I would just, whether you use downsized, company moved out of state, or the other reasons that I listed, that has nothing to do with your ability to continue working and your ability to function in the level that you want to function in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question. Like most of us here, we've been out of work for maybe some years, and our resumes look good up to a point where the work history falls off. Does that look bad on us, or is there a way we can explain that to a potential employer without looking like we just didn't want to work?
Right, and you're absolutely correct. That's a great question. And you are by far not the only one or only group in America that have gaps in their work history now. And from people from the executive level down and anything in between. My best suggestion is, you have this great work history going, and then there's a couple of years of no work history, and then now you have more work history. I would just write a very simple phrase, such as what I just said. If the company was downsized and that's why you were out of work. Mm-hmm. You can write, job searching. You can write caring for elderly parents. You don't have to write anything that is directly personal but that reflects to yourself. I mean, you don't have to write, became disabled or, severe medical problems or anything like that. That is not something that I would suggest you put on a resume at all.
Okay.
If you're really out of lack of what to use, I would just put in job searching.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Paula, are you going to be able to show us how to use USA Jobs at all? I know there were some questions on that.
I don't have the ability to bring that up and stay on Skype, I believe.
Now, if we're all in front of computers, could we?
Oh, yeah. If you go on USA Jobs and tell me what you've got, I will, let me try so I don't lose you. All right? I'm going to try to open up a window. See, I'm going to lose you if I do that. Then I can't see you.
Yeah, frozen.
So, tell me what you're seeing, and I will be more than glad to talk to you about how to do it.
Okay, so can everyone go to usajobs.gov on the internet?
Which computer are you using?
The one that's black. Or no, the one that shows Paula, I think. So you can use that one.
What is that? US what?
USA.gov.
USA Jobs, Jobs. Dot G-O-V as in Victor.
Yeah.
Okay.
US
Right
job.
now, does everybody have an account?
Yeah, that was the next question. Do you have to actually register on this site?
You only have to register on the site if you actually want to send in an application.
Okay. So I mean,
And I'll talk to you some other reasons why you should register.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, should we just automatically register,
Yeah.
or?
I definitely would. And then what I'll send out through email to Emily, and then she can share it with everyone, how to set up a search agent in USA Jobs.
That would be great.
This helps you, it'll notify you when jobs are posted for the agencies or the location you're interested in, and in the job series that you're interested in. I still tell everybody it is your responsibility to continue to look,
Right.
but it's nice to get that email, we'll say, every Monday, and you can see if there's any new jobs posted.
Right. Okay. So
So you
let's.
have two options here once you're on the home screen of USA Jobs. And the first one is to sign in with your account, or you can just click, and you'll start searching for any job.
Let's start searching for
So
any
let's
job.
let's all search for our job goal, and then in the where you can put Philadelphia.
Right.
And we'll do it later on.
Most of the people looking for administrative clerical type jobs,
Yes.
Yes.
all right, so that's job series, or one of the job series is 0318.
03
Your life easier.
0318.
0318.
Thank you.
Sure. And I'll find out the other job series and send them to you if there's one specifically for some specific clerical positions.
Great. Great. So that.
It narrows the field down instead of looking through jobs that you have no interest in or you wouldn't qualify for. Narrow it down. Make your time on the computer as valuable as possible.
Absolutely. Great.
Put in Philadelphia and put in whatever radius you're willing to travel. So it can be, I think the least is 20 miles. And it goes upwards to, I think, 200 miles.
All right. So let's all.
No jobs found.
No jobs found. What was your?
Administration assistant.
You're going to have to, I would take out the job, for right now,
Okay, it still
I would take
says-
out what is administrative, and I would just put in Philadelphia.
You would just put in Philadelphia. Okay.
And the city, where to look for, I just put in Philadelphia.
Let's just put in Philadelphia then, guys.
Go back to the front.
You have to put in Philadelphia, PA, because otherwise it'll ask you
You have
whether
to
it's
put in
Philadelphia, New
PA
York, or
because there's more
Philadelphia,
than
Right.
one Philadelphia in the country.
Philadelphia, PA.
So that's what I did, and it still came up. I just put clerical, just.
And I'm going to take myself off the screen for a few moments. You won't see me, but
Okay.
you'll be able to hear me. And I'm going to open up USA Jobs.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
USAJobs.gov.
USAjobs.gov.
Right.
So you don't need to go here. You can go right up there. And type it in. Everyone knows that you go to the navigation bar, right? Type in a website, usajobs.gov. You don't need to Google it. You can just type it in the
Oh,
navigation
yeah,
bar.
the navigation bar, right.
Emily, what's that number again, she gave?
The number is 0318, right?
0318.
And then put in your location.
And what is that number for?
That's for
And that's the secretarial.
secretary.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
then
how do you-
Philadelphia, what? PA.
Uh-oh.
All right. So I am going
One job.
to see if I can find a job.
There's only one Department of Treasury. Internal Revenue. She said it was one
That's
job.
me.
That's right.
Open. From the
All right. I see the position that I was referring
Referred
to.
to, that's what she
All right. It is on there
So
because I can see it.
Full-time, permanent career.
If you put in search jobs 0318 Philadelphia, PA, you're going to get one hit.
One hit, you're right.
So let's look at this and dissect it a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right, does everybody have it up on their screen, or at least a screen that they can view?
No.
No, not me, because I got all
Give us a
professional people. Real professional. Airport.
So guys, in the where, you should have Philadelphia,
Oh, that's,
PA.
it's no federal experience, I mean, is required.
Yeah, make sure that you click that it's no federal, because there are jobs that are open to only people that are already in the federal government, and jobs that are open to everybody out there.
Right.
Okay. So we got one, right?
They take me on one thing, right away. Look at that. $45 a year.
Does everyone have one job on their screen?
Yeah, I do.
I do not.
Okay, let's see what you did wrong. So we were not putting your articles, and we were just doing 0318, which is clerical.
Yeah, 0318 is the job number.
Paula, do you happen to know the tax or the code for a tax preparer?
I don't, but not off the top of my head. I'd have to go back in and look.
Okay, that's fine.
And I know it's one of those I know, but sometimes I have to go back and
Oh yeah.
go back and check it out.
No, I'll write down the ones.
We don't have tax preparers per se, because we're not allowed to prepare taxes.
Yeah.
We have tax examiners.
Tax examiners. Okay.
Right. Because if we prepare taxes, there's definitely a conflict of interest.
Right.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
Right, so we have about 15 more minutes, and I only say that, and I'll be more than glad to have another session, but I have another conference call.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I don't want me to cut people off. So once you have that job open, you're like, all right, this is a job I want to apply for. What's the first things you have to look for? Obviously, the job title, what agency it's for, and even though it says Department of the Treasury, we're under the Department of the Treasury. Because then, if you'll see, it says agency, Internal Revenue Service, and the job announcement number. So, the salary range is, as you can see, what it is, to make sure that it is in your area, and I know since it's specifically listed for Philadelphia, that is the actual dollar amount you would get paid if you were hired into this position. The lower is the starting salary, the higher number is the upper salary that it'll go to. This is the next line is critical. See where it says open period?
Yeah.
If you try to apply for this position after 11/59/59 on December 4th, you will get an immediate no. They do not kid around when they say that is the closing date.
Would you have to take the test for this job?
What's the date?
This position does not require a pre-employment test. All right? So the next thing you need to know is what grade level is it at? So you'll see GS, that's the pay scale.
8.
As I said, 0318, and then 8/9 means that you can come in possibly as an 8 and go to a 9, or come in as a 9. And that's determined on your experience, not so much as an I like you better than I like somebody else.
Okay.
All right? So you see where the location is. Well, first you see there's a full-time permanent position.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see something that says NTE, not to exceed, and it'll have a timeline. 89 days, 1 year, 2 years.
Okay.
That means that position will go away in that allotted amount of time. And the promotion potential is, like I said, to the GS9. It's located in Philadelphia. Perfect. Who can be considered? Any U.S. citizen, and you do not have to have prior federal experience. If you do, that's fine, but you don't have to. To the immediate right, you will see how to apply, and you would click Apply Online. You can do a print preview to make sure what you're printing actually is looking the way you want it to be. Save the job, so if you go in and you start the application and something distracts you, make sure you save the job. Otherwise, everything you did will go away. All right? So then it is for the Internal Revenue Service, and that's the exact address as to where it's going to be located. And then please save this information. Questions about the job. Save that. And the job announcement number. If you do not, and you ask me or any other, and I'm not, but if you ask the HR specialist attached to the job, any information, we have no way of tracking it.
Paula, do you save it via save job or do you say print
Copy
it?
and paste it. I
Copy
copy
and
and
paste.
paste it, save it in a Word document, write it down on a piece of paper that you know you're not going to lose.
Okay.
Paula,
Honestly, if you come back to me and say, I applied for a job in such and such and such and such, I can't track it. Then you go down to the main things. You have the job summary. Why is the IRS a great place to work? You're going to read that on every single job that we post. Doesn't change, all right? What is the IRS? Believe it or not, there are people that do not know what we do. There are, all right? Now, the main thing is what does a secretary do? All right? And so BU is business unit. You're going to provide a wide range of administrative and secretarial services and such.
Guys, you have to
The
click
next
on the
part
title.
where it says, what is small business self-employed? That means that this job is for that business unit. Okay? And it's going to tell you why we have small business self-employed.